What is up, Notre Dame fans? Mike Singer from blueandgold.com with another recruiting video. This past weekend, I was out on the road to see a four-star tight end commit Holden Stays from Atlanta, Georgia, Westminster High School. Let's go ahead and dive into the highlights and talk about what I saw. But before we do, hit that thumbs up real quick, Notre Dame fans. Help support what we're doing here at blueandgold.com. This was definitely a fun game to watch. It was one that Westminster did lose 24-18. So the State squad dropped to 2-3 on the season. But talking about him specifically in this game, that probably was the most open Stays was on the entire night. Not due to anything that Stays wasn't able to do as a receiver. It was just he was double teamed basically all night. There was bracketed coverage. Sometimes he was triple teamed in obvious passing situations. So the clips of Stays catching the football in this video will be of him in warm-ups because, again, 0 receptions on the day, but you'll see a lot of good stuff from him on the defensive side of the ball, playing similarly to Notre Dame's Viper position. You see him off the ball a little bit there, but again, mainly defense. But as far as him as a tight end, blocked pretty well. He's a very physical football player, as you'll see in these clips as well. Big dude, great body type. He's a really good receiver. I've known about his skill set as a wide receiver, but again, just was not on display. And he's had some big games as a junior, a senior, including a 10 reception game in a score. So you see the blocking there with the pancake. Here he is driving his defender about 5 yards downfield, and on this play, see a mobile quarterback rolling to his right. Stays, chases him down. You see a nice burst there. I'm telling you, if tight end doesn't work out, I actually like Stays as a linebacker. Maybe a will linebacker, rover, because he is physical. Now, the pass rushing skills, he wasn't getting after the quarterback at a really high level, but in run support, he had 9 tackles, a few tackles for loss. Overall, Holden Stays, really strong performance. I mean, continuing tight end Holden Stays. Eli Raridan committed to the Fighting Irish in the 2022 class. Got Cooper Flanagan, another 4-star, already committed to the Irish in 2023. Just John McNulty, whoever is in there as the tight end coach for Notre Dame, is recruiting at a high level tight end at least in my opinion, Notre Dame should be considered for tight end. You think Iowa might have a claim to that right now, but Holden Stays, another strong addition to Notre Dame's football team. A player who could eventually play some tight end at Notre Dame, Carson Tabarachi. The Fighting Irish offered him a couple of weeks ago. He's from Park City, 6'2", 230 pounds, listed as a 3-star recruit, but has some really impressive offers. Notre Dame on his list now. He's got offers from Michigan, Ohio State, and many others. Notre Dame offered him as really an athlete, with the emphasis potentially being as an H-back, whether that be fullback, a little bit of tight end, tailback, can really do a lot of different things. I also wouldn't be surprised if Tabarachi ends up playing some linebacker if he ends up with the Fighting Irish. Definitely a notable offer here. He camped at Notre Dame over the summer, and I'm told that the Fighting Irish staff really loved what they saw there. Wanted to see some of his early senior season film. He's looked really good. Park City's had a few running back injuries, so Tabarachi's had to play that position and not as much so much at linebacker, but what he's done with the football in his hands, he's really impressed college coaches, including Notre Dame. Definitely keep an eye on this young man. I feel like if the Fighting Irish staff pushes here, gets him on campus, I think you might see him ending up on Notre Dame's commitment list. Notre Dame is having a big recruiting weekend this Saturday when Cincinnati comes to town for a top 10 showdown. Jalen Brown, don't be fooled by the baby-faced old picture here. This dude is a certified baller, 4-star recruit, number 53 player in the country, number 5 wide receiver in all of America. In that 2023 recruiting class, about 30 offers in total. Teammates of recent Notre Dame running back commit Cedric Irvin Jr. Both of those guys visited Notre Dame back in June. Irvin committed just last week, and now Brown is visiting Notre Dame for a second time, again, when Cincinnati comes to town. really like Notre Dame right now. I mean, there's a ton of other schools in the mix here. Michigan's coming after him hard. All the Florida schools are after him, but I think Notre Dame is in better shape here than a lot of people realize. I think if Brown has a strong visit this weekend, the Irish receivers play well. He learns more about the academic and football program for Notre Dame. I mean, I could see this young man starting to favor towards Notre Dame. This recruitment will still have some twists and turns, but again, I think if you're a Fighting Irish fan, you should be pretty optimistic. Notre Dame doesn't often go into Miami to land these types of players, but they already got Cedric Irvin Jr. committed. Jalen Brown, Del Alexander, and that staff would love if he's next. And for our final segment of this video, Notre Dame's commit of the week, highlighting a Notre Dame commitment who just stood out in last week's action. Tobias Merriweather, the number 160 overall player in the country, number 19 wide receiver, number 2 player from his home state of Washington in the 2022 class, had a big performance in a 42-19 win for Union. He caught 7 passes for 121 yards and a touchdown. Also had a 30-yard interception returned to the house. There's really nothing I don't like about this young man's game. 6'4", 180 pounds, really nice speed, long arms, great catch radius, goes up and gets the football, really nice burst, plays defensive back at a high level, so you got some versatility. Great kid. He's going to give his all for Notre Dame football. Solid in his Fighting Irish commitment as well. He gave that pledge to Notre Dame in early August over Stanford, Oregon, Michigan, and many others. And he's rock solid with Notre Dame. I'm told he's visiting Notre Dame for the USC game. Look, Del Alexander had a lot of heat going into this recruiting class from Notre Dame fans. Merriweather, a huge commitment. CJ Williams, one of the very best receivers in the country as well. And Amorion Walker, who committed to Notre Dame back in March. He's up in the air with his commitment. Will he flip to Michigan? Will it be another school? Will he stick with Notre Dame? We'll see, but you got to be really excited about Tobias Merriweather, CJ Williams. And then do they go get Major Everhart? Do they hold on to Marion Walker? Still much more to unravel, if you will, at the receiver position. But again, you got to feel great about Notre Dame having Tobias Merriweather. That's going to do it for today's video. Make sure you hit that thumbs up, Notre Dame fans, and we will catch you next time.